When the iPhone 15 Pro Max dropped, it felt like everybody had something to complain about. The titanium design was too fragile, the action button felt pointless, the camera had that glitchy lens switching. But here we are 2 years later and I'm still rocking mine on a daily basis. So was the backlash actually fair, or was this a misunderstood start of a brand new iPhone era? Hi, it's Orange Tech here, and I'm going to break down my long-term experience with iPhone 15 Pro Max, so stay tuned throughout the whole video. The iPhone 15 Pro Max dropped in 2023 and honestly, it felt kind of rushed. Apple was clearly trying to kick off a new chapter, but the execution wasn't just smooth. I mean, we had overheating issues right out of the gate, and Apple actually admitted that this was part of a software bug. They dropped iOS 17 0.3 and things got slightly better, but that rocky start actually left a mark. It felt like Apple was trying to get ahead, but through the build that wasn't ready, it kept pulling them back. And this was the first time Apple ditched stainless steel and went over to titanium. On paper, it sounded good because this was something that was lighter, stronger, better heat dissipation, and yes, this was super light to carry along with you every single day. But let's not just pretend that the backlash wasn't real, because some durability tests showed that the back glass cracked way easier than older models. And people also complained of how it lost that heavy premium feel. Personally, for me, I would take the lighter weight, but I get it. It feels like Apple sometimes just make changes just to say, hey, we use titanium. Like, okay. But if there's anything I really love about the iPhone 15 Pro Max is actually the size, because look at this. That's my hand and that's a phone. I have a huge hand, so gripping this is just super nice. Although I don't normally use my phone like this, I have a case of course, but yeah, this is just a good size for a phone for me. Many people might just go for the iPhone 15 Pro because that is what actually fits them, but for me, I just go for the iPhone 15 Pro Max because of the performance and also the fact that this thing actually fits my hand. Now, the camera quality is where things get super interesting. I mean, most of the time it's amazing. You get vibrant photos, consistent colors, and the video quality is just amazing. I mean, I use this on my B-roll most of the time and it just works. But sometimes it's just a little bit laggy. Like when you're trying to take photos most of the time, there's this lens switch that actually occurs, and that could be a little bit frustrating. I mean, the lens switch goes from normal lens to wide lens, or it just tries to find the best lens for the situation, and that causes a lot of delay. And I talked about this with my friend who had a iPhone 15 Pro, and he said that his is actually worse because the camera is mostly blurry most of the time. And this feels like a thing on the iPhone 15 lineup. Who knows? But one thing I really like with the iPhone 15 Pro Max camera is the 5x zoom. Let's just be honest, because let's say you're standing across the other side of the street and you want to take a detailed shot of, let's say, a billboard or some text somewhere. It's super easy. When you just zoom in, you can zoom in all the way and still get that crispy shot, and it's actually nice. But what else? The camera is kind of shaky. I mean, it's unreliable sometimes. And since I've been using this phone for a very long time, earlier days, this phone would get hot on daily basis when you're gaming or normally just filming in 4K. But now, after the update, it's actually good. And you can also download the iOS 26 public beta if you feel like, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So you go to your settings, and then you go to software updates. Then you see that you don't have any updates at the moment, but you can also find that you have beta updates. You press on that, and then you can see two different types. For some people, it's probably gonna say public beta, but that's up to you if you wanna try it or not. And then when you press on that, you can now try out the iOS 26 beta, but that's up to you. You don't have to do it if you don't wanna, but this is how you can do it. When it comes down to the display, I mean, this thing is super awesome. I mean, you're looking at a buttery, smooth, bright, and vibrant liquid retina display. I mean, it's adaptive, ProMotion, 120 Hz. That is just great, because under the hood, it's an LTPO OLED panel, meaning that the iPhone can scale refresh rate all the way down to 1 Hz for static stuff like reading, then crank it up all the way to 120 when you need it. That saves a lot of battery without sacrificing smoothness. And when it comes down to outdoor use, I mean, you're looking at a brightness level of 2000 nits. And this is just super great because you can use it in direct sunlight unless you have an iPhone 8, which really doesn't match that level. But the iPhone on outdoor use is just unbelievable. One feature I actually thought I was going to be using most of the time was the mute button. But like 90% of me using this phone, I rarely touch the mute button. But I actually set it for camera use, but I don't normally use that. I would just rather swipe up and just press the camera on the screen rather than just pressing it on the mute button, because I don't have any use for that unless I mistakenly press it. But yeah, the mute button for me, I don't really use that. Let me know in the comments if you actually do. The battery life has been solid. I can stretch it for almost 1.5 days without charging, so this feels super nice. But sometimes when I'm editing or filming a B-roll for YouTube, then you might need to charge it like once a day or something like that. But like normally the battery life has been super exceptional. Right now I have a battery health of 89%. Not really good. I think somewhere around 300 or 400 cycles. If I get tired or if the battery gets weaker, I would just probably go change to a newer battery and continue using the iPhone 15 Pro Max, because it will get a lot of updates. I don't really need to update my phone. The next phone I think I'm gonna buy is probably like iPhone 25 or something, because by that time I think this phone will be outdated. But battery life on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is great, and if you pair that with a USB-C for fast charging, then you get a high watt charger, which makes legit difference. And being able to carry one cable for my MacBook, my iPad, my iPhone, that is just super nice, and I will actually call that a win. So yeah, the iPhone 15 Pro Max wasn't a perfect launch. I mean, Apple stumbled, they patched, they tried to fix, and there was a lot of things that actually didn't work out, but I still feel like this was a start of a new phone era. And we might also see if Apple tries to do a foldable phone, which will be super nice to see. But that would be another new challenge for some years to come. I feel like this phone, for me personally, it's an unstoppable force. I use this every day. It's not flawless, it still works. But if you're using an iPhone 15 Pro Max, drop a comment below, because I do want to know your experience with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, or if it's just only me facing all these problems. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.